What's up, everybody? Throwing Gaming here. So I'm joined by Oscar, by Callum, and by Ghost. And today we thought we'd do a multiplayer wishlist for Uncharted 4. It's as simple as that. We just all wrote down about 2 to 3 points, stuff that we would like to see in the multiplayer for Uncharted 4: Thieves End. So we're all just gonna go around, and like talk a bit about it, what we would like to see improved or changed or added or whatever. So yeah, I'd say Oscar, go ahead.
As usual, I always go first.
It's always Oscar. I don't know why.
It's always me. So yeah, pretty much I've got 3 ideas that I thought were something that should be added to Uncharted 4 in terms of the multiplayer anyway. So my first one on my list is a battle pack / supply drop element, which is essentially what COD and Battlefield have done, where kind of random points, maybe if you've ranked up, etc., you get this kind of, in my opinion, what Uncharted 4 will do is like a treasure chest. And it will open up and it will provide you with a weapon or something new that you can play with in the game. So that's what I have a feeling that's one thing that I think will happen in the game. I genuinely think that will happen because Uncharted. If you looked at Uncharted 3 and like the popular like first-person shooters, Uncharted 3 basically copied them in every single way.
Yeah,
so I think they'll just do the same with Uncharted 4 to make it mainstream. But I think they will actually do that. They will do.
Yeah, that sounds like something they will definitely do.
Yeah, so I think they'll do something like that, like a treasure chest system. Another thing I've done put down, which is slightly vague, I think, is more diverse kickbacks / boosters, and I think that's kind of I think that's like a general thing. I think people felt with Uncharted 3 anyway that the boosters, like some of them was never used. Like who uses what was the ones that people didn't use?
Well, there were too many to list.
There was too many, but like I think the first one
there was always that kickback that it was like the idol, the cursed idol.
Oh, yeah.
That was it. Yeah, nobody used that. Or at least a noob uses that in the wrong time and kills himself. Yeah.
Oh, creepy crawler. He's like, oh yeah, thanks. I can't go at walls or anything. So, I mean, there were so many stupid things in Uncharted 3 with like kickbacks and boosters. Like, you've got revenge in there, obviously, which Robin hated for years.
I love it.
Revenge on revenge. Revenge on revenge. Yeah.
Which apparently wasn't a clan, but then entered all the competitions anyway. So,
continue, Oscar.
So yeah, that was the other one. More kickbacks and boosts. Well, not more, but like more diverse ones. So ones that actually affect the game better. And then my final one, which some people might kind of think was added to the game later on anyway, in Uncharted 3 anyway, was that the kind of more customization, but less like like more colors, like more. What was the kind of word? Like gun customization. Like you had like rate of fire, etc. All these different kind of mods you could add to it, but attachments that are kind of not influential on the way the gun works, i.e. rate of fire, is not something you want to have in the game because obviously it increases the chance of you killing someone before they've killed you. So I have a feeling that they will add more kind of different elements to the guns that you have. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but obviously you've got like clip size in there, blind for accuracy, reload speed, all that kind of stuff that was in the game. But they'll add some more, again, probably copied from COD or Battlefield. But I think again that will come from those treasure, battle packs / supply drop. I don't know what they'll call them, treasure chests, I would say. But there'll be something like that, I think. So yeah, they're my kind of 3 ideas. So yeah, Robin, what are yours?
So the first one I wrote down was interactive levels. I think that they tried doing this with Uncharted 3 already with the plane and with the train parts that happened like right before the actual map starts. You have this short 1 to 2 minute intro section, and they were really cool in theory, and it totally fits the Uncharted series because set pieces are like a big part of that, and to see that carry over in multiplayer I think is great, but they were just not worked out very well in Uncharted 3. They didn't work at all, actually. Like, people tended to skip out, or like, just skip them when they could choose for the no intro versions. They would rather play on those because, for example, you take the plane part, people would always like jump next to the cars and then just like fall to their death and stuff. It would happen all the time, or it was laggy as hell. Actually, the servers have always been bad in the Uncharted multiplayers. So I just think like they need, these set pieces need to make a little more sense. They need to be worked out better, and if they do that, that's going to be something really awesome. Something that I think totally adds to the multiplayer. But they just have to do it right, not like in Uncharted 3. So the second thing I wrote down was more symmetrical kind of like levels, and that's because
like Uncharted 2.
Exactly, Uncharted 2 really had that, like all of those maps, they were all like, okay, you have 2 bases and then, there's it's pretty much the same map on each side, you know. So it was always very balanced in that way, and you know there was always people shooting at each other at different, you know, locations and stuff. Where you take in Uncharted 3, you take the map, the Chateau, and it was just like, yeah, you had these spawns, but nobody was really ever there. It all pretty much took place in that chateau itself, and you know, sometimes in specific areas outside people would always be, because you know that's just the way the spawns worked. But then at the same time you had different locations where, you know, you would never expect enemies to be, and that was kind of like the thing I noticed with all of these maps in Uncharted 3. So once again, just something they didn't do really well. Like, I thought the map design was just in itself quite bad in that, you know, multiplayer. So I hope they kind of like go back to that you know, Uncharted 2, kind of like style of maps. And then the last thing I wrote down also has to do with the booster slots actually, like you said, Oscar, but it was more like, the way you said it, like, yeah, you had like 2 booster slots maybe in both Uncharted 2 and 3, I think, and then like you had 10 boosters to choose from. That's just way too much, you know. You shouldn't do that, because people, you know, like, they would always use the same booster for each slot, and you would never encounter people who are using a different thing. So what I think is you should kind of like create maybe like 3 or 4 booster slots, and then only have a small, you know, selection, but all of them should be, once again, just balanced out a little better. You know, they should all have their own purpose. They should all add something to the multiplayer, make you better in some way, but still make it hard for you to choose which one you actually want.
And that's what COD does, right? Isn't it? Like,
yeah,
COD's like really good. Like,
they have really good perks, you know. Yeah, you actually, like, you see people using different ones all the time because they're so balanced, and each player has their own playstyle. So then it's good that you can pick a booster that kind of like fits your playstyle more. So yeah, I mean, in theory they didn't really do that many bad things with these previous multiplayers, but they should just work them out a little better, and then that would be, you know, great for sure in my eyes. So yeah, Ghost, go ahead.
Alright, okay, so I'm going to go over the things that I thought were, I think that Naughty Dog could really add. A few of them we've already said, actually, and of course I should point out that this is not including things that I want to be kicked out of the game, because I actually thought the Uncharted 3 multiplayer was pretty decent. I think we did tend to focus on the bad things a lot of the time. It did keep me entertained for a good 1.5 years non-stop.
It was very fun to play.
Yeah, that sounds sadder than it is, because it was very fun to play, and I think this is discluding things that I disliked, like the DLC, the blind firing melee, and the shooting through walls, that sort of stuff. But the things that I want to actually get added, as Oscar said before, was the more options in general. So more boosters, kickbacks, more weapon attachments, that sort of stuff. Another thing I'd like to see is a bigger variety of game modes. Now, there were plenty of game modes in the Uncharted 3 multiplayer. I think there was a really good selection there, but a lot of them were far too similar to each other. I just felt a lot of them I didn't play at all, like, very regularly. I think Plunder and Hardcore, off the top of my head, were two game modes that I just never played, because they just weren't all that interesting. They weren't all that different. Having said that, with the game modes, I think I'd really like to see the return of block mesh maps. Now, I think as Robin, I think you pointed this out quite a while back, but they're probably using the block mesh maps as a test for the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. But I think if they do bring those out and actually release a block mesh map every week or so, just to, you know, make it a little bit different, I think that would be really, really nice to have, rather than just playing on the same maps constantly and inevitably have to pay for DLC to get a different experience. And the final thing that I actually find is going to be pretty essential to keep people playing the game is to have more clan support now, or at least an actual tournament system, because in the Uncharted 3 multiplayer there was literally what was called the tournament system, and I remember this was such a naive decision of me. This was when I was far too excited about the tiniest of things. I heard about this idea, the tournament system, and I went and bought 200 tickets for it, and I spent like 3 of them, and that was like 20 quid. It was like I had 20 quid spare in the PS Store, and I thought, well, let's get it. It was the biggest waste of money I've done in my life, and I think if they actually managed to get a decent tournament system and get some actual support for clans, then people will play it for longer. Well, you know, people played it for quite a long time for Uncharted 3, but I think it would really keep people interested. And if they do get decent clan support, then clans that, you know, that are successful will have more incentive to keep playing, and there'll be actual prizes, and the tournaments will be organised, you know, quite well, unlike some of the controversial issues that happened in Uncharted 3. No names mentioned, of course, but yeah, that's all I want to say on
Very
that.
subtle.
So we'll go on to Callum. What do you think, Callum?
Oh, so I finally get a say? Okay.
Yeah, left to last.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that. I want the Breaking Bad map. No, I'm gonna go with sort of similar sort of things. So like Robin said about like the boosters and stuff like that. So and how maps were symmetrical in Uncharted 2. So I want that sort of stuff in Uncharted 4, but with like weapons based stuff like that. I kind of want it like Uncharted 3, so you're allowed the customization of adding like attachments and things like that to your weapons, making it like different, like to like match your play style and how you play. I don't want there to be any ridiculous microtransactions like there were for Uncharted 3, so like you could buy a different hat or something like that because it just looks stupid. I mean, I did buy a few, but like Ghost said, it's just a complete waste of money.
I mean, that's all up to you. I mean, it's all as long as they keep it cosmetic and don't let us buy better weapons or something. That would be bad. But I'd say like the cosmetic stuff, that's fine with me because I'm never gonna buy that stuff. So.
Yeah, they could do it like with something that it did with Uncharted 3, where you earned in-game money, and that money was used to say like buy characters.
Yeah, that's what they're doing in Killzone.
That's what or something like that.
They've introduced that with Killzone now.
Would make it good. Yeah. I'm also kind of thinking like way better matchmaking, even though they can't really change that a lot, can they? So like, because what was it? It used to take like I think I was sat there for like 5 minutes or something once, just waiting to find people to play a match with. So that was a load of crap. Maybe that's just Somerset internet.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
I think that's pretty much all I have to say on it, unless like the Dutch boy and both the Northern boys maybe have something to say.
There was one thing I just wanted to quickly say actually. Was
Breaking Bad?
No, it wasn't that. It was not Breaking Bad. But
Why not?
What I was going to say was that if Callum, you mentioned about how they don't want you don't want to like have to pay for DLC guns that make it. Oh, I think it might have been Robin actually, but he mentioned how you don't want to be paying for DLC guns which are making the experience for you better because they're more powerful or whatever. Well, something tells me they're going to do that. If you look at The Last of Us, they have got these guns which are better than the guns which aren't available to everyone. And if you pay for them, you get these better guns. So
it's unfortunate.
I have a horrible feeling they're going to do that. I have a horrible feeling they're going to do that because what they've done with The Last of Us is all this DLC. I mean, I don't know if you saw that recently about The Last of Us DLC where they've got like these executions which you can buy, and they look really cool. I don't deny that they're really, really cool. But paying like I think it's like £1.50 or something for each one. I mean that's just ridiculous.
It's not really worth like you spending like even though it's not a lot of money, but it's not really worth you spending that money on something that you're going to use in a game. You could put that money towards saving up for like watching Breaking Bad or something. Like I mean.
Or spend it on something better than Breaking Bad, but we're not going to go there.
Right, I think we'll end the video.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up there. That was a good one.
That was a good video. So pretty much we wanted to know what you guys think about the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. What are things that you want to have in the Uncharted 4 multiplayer? What's your wish list essentially? So yeah, let us know in that comment. Let us know that in the comments. Can't speak. And we'll hope to see you again. I keep ending like Robin. I hope to see you again
keep doing a Robin
next time.
Next time. Thank you.